Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be doing something that I am very excited about and I've been thinking about it for quite a while. I'm going to be combining two of my all-time favorite things, and that is reading and Taylor Swift. I even have a Taylor Swift shirt on for the day. This is back from the Lover era. It is the Cruel Summer single shirt. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to be recommending books based on Taylor Swift songs. So I'm planning on making this a series. There's only 5 recommendations in this video, but I know every single Taylor Swift song ever made, so I have probably a lot more recommendations that I could think of. In the past, I have done book recommendations based on Taylor Swift eras, so I will link that below. It is definitely an older video, but there are still some good recommendations in there. I am very excited to jump into this. Obviously, there are a lot more that I can do. This is just the 5 that I'm going to start with. But I am just so excited because I love Taylor Swift. Anyway. Let's get into it. My first recommendation is going to be based on the song Enchanted from Speak Now. It is a song that I love dearly. And this one, Enchanted, to me, just obviously screams like fairy tale magic. It's a really beautiful song, and I just love the kind of chanting towards the middle of the bridge of the please don't be in love with somebody else. And I think so much of the feeling of that song can be applied to most historical romances, but in particular I'm going to talk about one I read recently because I adored it so much, and that is Romancing the Duke by Tessa Dare. So this is a book that follows Izzy, who is recently orphaned, and a duke whose name I actually can't remember right now because I'm just terrible. Now Ransom, that's his name. Anyway, so Miss Izzy Knight, Goodnight, sorry, like I said, recently lost her father, and her father was a famous author with a huge following all across London, and despite that, he left her with basically nothing. She gets this letter, though, that she inherited a castle from like a distant uncle or cousin or something, so she shows up with not a penny to her name, and she's like, well, at least I have somewhere to live, and she decides she's going to fix up this castle so she can live out her days there as a spinster. But she gets there, and a certain duke is living there, and he's like, no, sorry, I did not die, I did not give my house away, I live here, I own this, I own a lot of property, including this castle, you do not. And she's like, no, I do. And she shows him her paper, blah, blah, blah. And they realize there's definitely something odd happening. And now you see the Duke. I love him. He was recently hurt in a battle. There's more details to that, but it's all spoilers. But he was blinded when this happened. He has some sight, but for the most part is blind. And he has been trying to hide this from society. He hasn't been out in society in a long time, and is recovering as a recluse. So yeah, then they meet and they have to work together to figure out who really owns this castle, and obviously they fell in love, and it's got a lot of really good tropes. It's kind of not enemies, but sort of an enemies to lover. This is a virgin heroine. We've got grumpy sunshine. There's just so much good stuff, and I love this book, and it just gives me the butterflies that Enchanted by Taylor Swift does. So I think, honestly, if you're a Speak Now girly, I feel like you have to be a historical romance girly. If you are a Speak Now fan, girly sounds better, and you've not read a historical romance, I'm begging you, try them out. I think it'll work for you. Start with Tessa Dare. She's a perfect author to start with when it comes to historical romance. So anyway, that's my recommendation.
car, and I cried like a baby coming home from the bar. I'm fine, but it wasn't true. I don't wanna keep secrets just to keep you. And I was stuck in through the garden gate. Every night there's so much to steal my faith. I scream for whatever it's worth. I'm not the only that's the worst thing. He looks so pretty like a devil.
Next, so this couple, is another romance book. Most of these are going to be romance books. This particular book, I could have applied any number of songs off of the Lover album. Quite like the entire Lover album could be applied to this book. But I'm going to go with Cruel Summer, which is this shirt that I'm wearing. Cruel Summer is just a fun single. It is the big opener of the Eras tour. Well, technically Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince is the opener, and that is another song that would be perfect for this book. But Cruel Summer is just, it's just a cruel summer, you know? Anyway, the book I've chosen is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Like, just do Henry and Alex not just scream Cruel Summer? And on the other hand, they also would be very fun to go to the Eras tour with. They would get so into it. In my head, Henry's definitely a much bigger Swiftie than Alex. Like, he would be fully decked out in a costume, and Alex would be like enjoying it, but like being like not as into it as Henry. Anyway, that's all beside the point. They are so Cruel Summer coded. Like the sneaking in through the garden gate, like, oh, I mean, come on. If in case you have been living under a rock and you don't know what Red, White, and Royal Blue is about, it is a kind of alternate universe where a different person is president of the United States. It is a woman, and it follows her son, Alex Claremont, and the Prince of England, which is Henry over here. They meet and they hate each other. And then they find out that they don't hate each other and that actually they love each other. I love this book so much. So it is all about them finding themselves through their relationship and falling in love and navigating on the bigger side what that means for their countries and their reputations and their families and all of that. And like, it's just so lover coded. Like, it's so perfect. They are Cruel Summer, they are Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, they are Death by a Thousand Cuts, they are London Boy, obviously, like, they are, and it's even Pink, just like Lovers. So I love this for them, but I chose Cruel Summer because I think that is the most emotional song, and like, I'm drunk in the back of the car, like, Alex, come on, please. It's just perfect. And they also, in case, again, you're living under a rock and you don't know, there is a movie adaptation of this book that is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, there are details that they leave out from the book, but on the whole, it captures the heart and the love that is in this story so magically, and I love it. Unfortunately, I don't think there are any Taylor Swift songs in the movie. False God too, oh my god, like literally the entire Lover album. So that is my recommendation for Cruel Summer. Let's move on to the next one.
They're burning all the witches even if you aren't one. They got their pitchforks and proof, the receipts and reasons. They're burning all the witches even if you aren't one. So light me up, light me up, light me up, go ahead and light me up, light me up, light me up, light me up, light me up. They say I did something bad.
So this one might be a little bit on the nose, but I, through and through, am a Reputation girly, and one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite performances ever live is the iconic I Did Something Bad. And now this, like I said, this is the part where we get a little on the nose, but in that song she says, they're burning all the witches even if you aren't one. What else would I recommend if not Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I don't know if I said her name right, but Serpent and Dove, if you have not seen this book or heard me rave about this series, is about two characters, mostly it is about, of course I'm sitting here and like not able to remember their names because that's just how I am. Reed, and she has a name too. Let's find it. I'm gonna just keep flipping pages until it happens. my husband. Reed's my husband too. Why can I not remember her name? I swear to God, I have read this book. You know, you would think all this reading would make me smarter, but it hasn't yet. Anyway, Lou. So, I chose I Did Something Bad for this book because they're burning all the witches even if you aren't one. So in this world, it's kind of loosely based off of like not ancient, but like, I don't know, 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, I don't know the difference, France. And except it's a world where magic exists. Reed, he is a witch hunter, and Lou is a witch. But some things happen towards the beginning of the book, and they are forced into a marriage of convenience, if you will, and it is so much fun. It is so much fun. I love the relationship. I love all the drama. There are some things later in the series that break my heart, like beyond repair, but in general, it's a lot of fun. And I just really love the relationship, and I love the romance, and I love the drama that happens because of their circumstances. Did I mention that Lou keeps it a secret that she's a witch, obviously? So lots of like anticipation, and it's just so good. And Lou would be a Swiftie, but I think Reed would be even more of a Swiftie, and I love that for them. Lou definitely loves Reputation. I think Reed would be more of like a Speak Now or a Red girly. Anyway, I love this book. I love this series. If she ever wanted to just write more in this universe, I'd so be here for that, even though I do love how it ended. But so this is a completed series, so you can binge all of it. When I finished the second one, the third one wasn't out yet. It was horrible. But I love this book. I love this series. I love these characters. And I just think that drama, that like just high stakes, that feel you get in Reputation, you would definitely get in this book. Plus, serpent, snake.
My only one, my smoking gun, my eclipsed sun, this has broken me down. My twisted knife, my sleepless night, my windless fight, this has frozen my ground.
Next is a song that you wouldn't necessarily assume I would go with like a high stakes fantasy, but the song is Hoax. It is one of the bonus songs on Folklore, which was Taylor's album that came out during the pandemic. And Hoax, in my opinion, is a very underrated song because it's so like slow and sad that I think a lot of people kind of overlook it. Because it's maybe not as powerful as like My Tears Ricochet, but that slowness and that like evenness is almost more sad to me than some of the bigger, like more production-y songs. And Hoax is one of my favorite songs. It's just beautiful. And it has this really haunting feeling throughout the song that I think could apply to a lot of different books, but the one I went with is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Now, I do have conflicted feelings about this series as a whole. I'm actually currently reading Warstorm, but in general, the first book is one that I really, really love, and I think a lot of this story relies on the trope of betrayal, which is not my favorite trope, but it works really well with the song Hoax. I think that she, being Mare, experiences so much that to her, like, she has such a hard time in the end discerning what's real and what's not. And I think that's a lot of what Hoax is about, of like questioning everything because you don't think that you deserve something good, so you question whenever good does come along, and that's something my girl Mare has experience with. A lot happens in this first book. A lot happens throughout the series, obviously, but in this first book, her experiences with people who betray her, it's really painful to read, and it definitely reminded me of Hoax quite a lot. If you really just like sit and listen to the lyrics of Hoax, I feel like Mare would really connect with them. So.
Breathe in, breathe through, breathe in, breathe out. I'll be getting over you my whole life. falling in love. I thought the plane was going down, how'd you turn it right around?
Next on my list, another sad song. This was actually the song in the book that gave me this idea to kind of recommend books based specifically off of Taylor Swift's songs rather than just albums. And that is the song Labyrinth off her most recent album, and that is Midnights, or her most recent non-re-recording album. Labyrinth is a song that I didn't hate the first time, but I didn't love. Like, I didn't really fully understand it the first, times listening to it. But it has, in retrospect, probably become my favorite song on Midnights. I don't know. That's a strong statement, but I love the song. And maybe it's just because, like, Midnights was still what I was listening to when I read this series or whatever. But I feel so strongly that Labyrinth is for this. I swear to God, she wrote it for this character in this series. Anyway, the book is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Brigid Kimmerer. If you've been on my channel at all this year, you know I am obsessed with this series. Literally obsessed. I think about it all the time. I can't wait for her to write more in the world. I'm anxiously awaiting. But in my head, Labyrinth, I swear to you, is written, and again, with the character names, what's wrong with me? Anyway, Gray, his name's Gray. I think it's about Gray, like 100%, and not as much in this first one, kind of later in the series, especially the second one, but even more so the third one. But then also in the new spin-off series, I love these characters so much. I love him so much. But Labyrinth is this song, she's always spiraling in her own thoughts, in the maze of her own thoughts. And the lyrics say, like, oh, I'm falling in love. Uh-oh, I'm falling in love. That's literally Gray and Liamara. I love them so much, it literally hurts. And I think they both experience that, but I think Gray experiences the most. And it's kind of funny how they're not even the main characters, and yet I love them more than the other characters. Sorry, I do love everyone else in this book, but Gray has this experience. If you haven't read this series, it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it grows to be a lot more than that. About a girl, Harper. She is pulled from our real world into this magical world where she is supposed to fall in love with this prince so that they can save the castle and save the kingdom from the curse. And then it becomes a lot bigger than that because there's a war, North versus South countries. I can't remember the names of the countries. And a question of who truly belongs on the throne, and whether or not magic should be allowed in the land. And lots of terrible things happen, lots of sad things happen. There is a scene which I love it so much, but also it breaks me. In the fourth book, there is a scene that I will literally never forget. It ripped out my heart, stomped on it. It was horrible, but I love these characters so much, and I love this writing, and I really love this series. And I don't even really know how to explain it completely in words, but the song Labyrinth is just so woven into this series for me. Like, the feeling you get in Labyrinth, this like building and building and building that's never released, this anxiety spiral, is this book. It's specifically Gray, but in general it's like the whole book. Everyone's having a terrible time. So that is my recommendation for that one. Those are my 5 Taylor Swift based book recommendations for this video. This is definitely an idea I will be returning back to. The more that I think of recommendations, I will be sharing them here with you. You'll probably get sick of me. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you ever reading any of these books, or if you already have read any of these books, and if you think my song association is legit. Some of them I could see like differences, except for Labyrinth. Like, Labyrinth is A Curse So Dark and Lonely. Like, there's no arguing. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I upload booktube content as well as some Disney content and whatever else I feel like doing. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your favorite Taylor Swift song is down below. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!